Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, September 16th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you were someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right here will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol SMX, and a very, very entertaining day. Massive explosion right there during that 30-minute session. And even when I speak right now, a little bit bigger of a pullback, but still nothing that I would consider a crash or anything like that. But nonetheless, let's get some levels mapped out here headed into Monday. So first key level, I think this right here is a trend line that a lot of people will be drawing. And I say that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So if the price were to recover back up to that area and then to break up through it again, no guarantees, but a break of that level, even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, more than valid to think that a break right there could lead to more continued momentum. And then just to finish out the pattern here, as far as the bottom part of the pattern, we have this area right here. And wow, yeah, this last 30 minutes is, and that's why I like to do these when the market's open. But yeah, this last 30 minutes, quite the pullback here. And then just to make the overall pattern hopefully easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosive move right there for you golfers. Try to make a little bit more visual for you. Put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennants, and you like pullbacks, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, TNON, and a couple of, this is just a weird looking chart. I mean, almost a case of deja vu, with each day looking very, very similar. Big move up, nasty move down. All of a sudden, a big move up, nasty move down. So I don't know. That begs the question, is that going to happen third time's a charm on Monday? I suppose we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, there is some well-defined levels, which again, just bringing up, they're talking about self-fulfilling prophecies. Worth it at least keeping an eye on these levels, especially that level right there, because you got to think, again, a lot of people have drawn that trend line, and therefore, if the price were to come up here and push up through it, self-fulfilling prophecy or not, right there, that break, it's reasonable to think that it could create additional buying pressure. So definitely keep a close eye on that resistance trend line right there if you like to play breakouts. And then if you like to play pullbacks, in my opinion at least, the more interesting pullback area, got to let the price come down a little bit more to right around that gap close location, give or take a little bit at 575, because not only is that a former area of resistance, which you can see right there, so just basic technical analysis, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. But you also have the purple line right there, the 50-period moving average, coming up right around that area. So again, no guarantees, but certainly plausible to think that the price does pull back more. It could find some support around that area before getting to bounce. Next, IMRX, and I like this one as it's created a good solid breakout point, but also has created a situation that I always find interesting, and that is based on the fact of start off very strong, but then started to drop and drop and drop and drop, and around these areas it becomes very valid to say, uh-oh, is this a pump and dump? Is this some sort of gap and trap? And we got our answer here, and apparently, as of now at least, no, it's not. How? And we just tell that from, well, the price has actually started to now build some higher bases. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there's a big pullback and just because there's now a slight little uptrend does not mean for sure guaranteed that this pullback is over and that for sure guaranteed this thing's going to explode back up to the heights where it was. I'm just saying it becomes a whole lot more reasonable to throw out that suggestion. Case in point, let's say the price was still just dropping. I'm saying, hey, I think this is the bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, wait a second, based on what? The price is literally still just dropping. Well, that's not the case here. You do have a little bit of an upward slope to it, so we'll see if that is any sort of leading indicator that this pullback is over. And then in terms of areas of resistance, pretty well-defined one. In terms of if you want to try to play some sort of breakout back to the upside, that sits there right around $2.15. Next one here, NIO, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from yesterday, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that resistance, or excuse me, that support trend line right there. And you can see right here, this morning did a fantastic job of finding some support right at that area. So for any of you that watched the video from yesterday and accumulated either some contracts of options or just some shares, well done, because you got a very nice bounce right off that level. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend this level out, and we'll continue to watch that as we head into next week. So in other words, as long as the price continues to stay above that support trend line right there, that implies the bulls are in full health, the bulls are in control, and nothing necessarily to worry about, because as nice as it would be for a price to be able to go up every single day, that's just not how it works. But as long as the price is showing progress, and again, quote unquote showing progress being defined as staying above that trend line right there, then overall the bulls are doing just fine. In terms of near-term levels of resistance, have a key level right here at $5 and right around $5.57, and then if the price can push up through there, not that far away, have the major level right up there at 566. So if anything, I think the proper terminology here would just be, well, let's just call this resistance zone. So you have this resistance zone here, and yeah, it's definitely going to require the bulls to bring their A game. Certainly not impossible to break through, but it's an area here where probably going to be quite a bit of sellers, so we'll see if the bulls can indeed bring enough strength next week to push up through that zone. Next one here, NVDA, NVIDIA, and all things considered, good solid day. By no means was today exciting or anything like that, but as I was just talking about, unfortunately not every day is going to be exciting where the price is going up. Sometimes it just needs to consolidate, and that's what happened here. But overall, very, very nice pattern here, and when you have a nice, well-defined pattern on a very, very much so watch stock, I mean, who hasn't heard of NVIDIA by this point? Again, it does bring about those potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So I want to add in the top part of the pattern right there. I'm going to change up. That way we can make it look a little bit different, because I do want to keep in 120.80 because that is the overarching level of resistance. But we have that initial level right there, and then we have this area right here as support. And then just to make it, again, easier to see, let's keep it one color. So resistance, support, nice upwards move. So bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, look at it. Well-defined and more than reasonable to think that if the price can push up through there, especially if it's a high volume break, that could carry it up to that area and then potentially even higher than that. In fact, I like the odds that it at minimum test the highs, assuming it's a high volume break of that pattern right there. Now what it does at the highs, my confidence level drops quite a bit, so I'm not quite sure, but yeah, high volume break of the pattern right there. Again, no guarantees, but I think there's a very good chance that it goes up there and at least retest that area. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely go get signed up for the free class next week. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol XXII, and there's no doubt about it, this thing is a very ugly looking chart, but you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next, and that is there can be opportunity in the ugly, and it's definitely approaching that ugly, or that opportunity area. Although right now, a bit of a bounce, but still, if it rolls back over, then the area here that I find pretty interesting, right down here at this gap close location, which sits down there at the 28-cent mark, and this is one where if you're not disciplined, if you're not very good at honoring stop losses, I mean, you shouldn't even be trading in the first place, but that's a whole nother video. But you definitely should not be trying these situations because they can be very nice risk rewards. I mean, assuming you're going to be disciplined, you can have a very minimal risk. But if you get, a bounce back to the upside, even if it just comes up to right there, relative to what was being risked, you could be looking at a nice upside reward. So it's really just a question of, do you like these sorts of situations where the things are looking really ugly? Do you like penny stocks, and are you a good disciplined trader? If so, then this one could definitely fit into quite a bit of your criteria. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and want to just not overcomplicate this one. Very, well, I don't want to say very clear because maybe you've never seen a chart before, but right around here, $231, give or take, seems to be just the middle ground of this area where the price just can't quite maintain any sort of momentum. Now, I realize a couple times there and there, price went above that area, but then other times the price didn't quite hit that area. So like I said, right here at, well, I guess if you want to be very specific, 231.25-ish is an area where there's just a lot of sellers hanging around that area, and you got to think that a lot of people are continuing to watch that level and just waiting for a breakout. Now, granted, right there, breakout traders got fooled. I mean, I can see people buying that breakout, and then, of course, the price flushed back down. So that was a pretty cruel move there. So that also brings about that even if the price does start to push up through this area, I'd be skeptical because as of right now, there is a history of the price behaving like it wants to break out, and it is breaking out to a point. But as far as it being a genuine breakout where the price actually maintains those gains that it did, that's where it's so far failed to not be able to do that. And then in terms of levels of support, straightforward here, just keeping on that purple line right there, 50 period moving average. So if there is any sort of pullbacks, then right around the 226 mark would be the key level of support. Next one here, ticker symbol ATPC, and I should have put this at the other after XXII because same general area here, but this thing is definitely a very, very ugly situation. In fact, last 30 minutes is just pushing down that much further. So everything I talked about with XXII, be disciplined, all of that, you know, definitely pertains here. And really the only thing that I want to, you know, put in is where's that gap close. So right there around the $1.45 mark. Again, that's the gap close, and I think that's a very reasonable spot where you could get a bounce from. So if you're somebody that likes to put together those, you know, minimal risk, but if you get the bounce, high reward type situations, then that's definitely going to afford you that opportunity. But again, just to hammer home, if you're not disciplined, if you're at a high risk of turning yourself into a bag holder because you refuse to cut the loss, then you know definitely should not be touching these. But to think that at one point the price was all the way up here, now the price has dropped all the way down here. Can it come down here and get even a little modest bit of a bounce? Definitely an interesting situation and one worth keeping an eye on if you like these scenarios. Next one, AMD, and nice pattern here has formed. A pretty, you know, not exciting day. Again, I don't mean that in any sort of bearish way. Just the price didn't exactly explode upwards or anything like that. But to be fair, I mean, it did put in a higher high, so that's always a good thing. But you know, obviously nothing like this where the price just, you know, made some sort of ripping, roaring move or something like that. Pretty muted on the day, but still overall a healthy day. So keep an eye on that resistance line right there. And I can't remember, did I even say the ticker symbol? If not, well, I'll just err on the side of caution. This is AMD, but we have that resistance line right there. And then in terms of areas of support, have that level right there. And then from a pattern standpoint, what do you want to call this? Yeah, that's more of a bull pennant than a bull flag. But you have a nice little wedge formation here. But at the end of the day, no need to overcomplicate it. The price continues to put in these higher highs. Price continues to put in higher lows. And that is what matters most, assuming, of course, that you're bullish. So higher highs and higher lows for AMD. Next one, TQQQ, and a very, very good day in this one. Not necessarily because it was a green day, but more so from a technical point of view. The price was able to break up through this trend line here that I mapped out in yesterday's video, which is always a good sign when these technical levels can be broken. Now, did it break in and explode? It didn't, but it also wasn't a fake breakout. Think back to Tesla, how Tesla broke out and then completely gave up its gains. That was not the case here. It broke out and then just did a good job of consolidating at a higher level. So I will be the first to admit, not the most exciting of breakouts, but it was exciting from the, you know, from the framing of, well, at least the price didn't, you know, just all of a sudden give back all its gains. It was not a fake breakout. So that's where this first update comes into play. When levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward, definitely keep an eye on that green line there, and preferably speaking, you want to see the price stay above it. Now, if the price does drop below it, that's not the end of the world. It's not like the chart's destroyed or anything like that. You still have lots of other areas of support. There's a pink line, 200 period moving average support. There's a purple line, 50 period moving average of support. So again, that is not some sort of do or die level, but if the price can stay above there, that would certainly make the chart look as healthy as possible. In terms of next levels of resistance, key battleground to watch going into next week, right here at that level of $68, and we'll call it 90 cents, and you can see right there, actually 3 times, boom, boom, and then boom, behaved as resistance. So that's not to say the price can't push above it, but that is to say that there's a track record here of sellers hanging around that area. So we'll see if the price can get up through there. But overall, very nice close to the week for this one. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for the free live webinar next week. It'll be Thursday, September 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, so each one of these represents 4 hours and not 30 minutes, and that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7. And in order for this video to remain relevant for as long as possible, I want to use a longer time frame and you know, just kind of walk yourself through some questions. So on that note, I'm just going to assume you're watching this video Sunday afternoon. And as of right now, very, very impressive movement. Check out that 4-hour period right there. 4 hours of the price essentially going straight up. It's broken through these levels, and this is a good problem to have. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of these lines right here as they serve their purpose for now. And the first key update is definitely just based on that rule, like I've said, when levels of resistance are broken closed above, you want to see them act as support. So that brings about question number 1. So again, let's say you're watching this Sunday afternoon. Question 1 becomes, where is the price at relative to 58,600? if you are answering the question that the price is up above that level in any way, shape, or form, that is a good thing. Because even if the price, and I'm not saying it will do this, but even if the price had come down, is down around this area, that's still showing you that you have a higher low. That would imply you have a low there, a low there, a low there, low right there. So big picture wise, that's still perfectly healthy. So again, any sort of answering the question of the price is above 58,600, that is a good thing. But then common sense will take you far. If you're saying, well, Clay, actually the price is way up here now, well, that's just telling you that Bitcoin is continuing to build upon the momentum and the chart has gotten that much more bullish. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below 58,600, next immediate question is, okay, well, where's the price at relative to the purple line right there? I highly doubt you're answering the question, or you will be answering the question that the price is down below that area. But if you are, well, then that's telling you that the bears have shown up in a big way over the weekend, and that is, I'm not going to say has destroyed the chart, but it definitely would be putting a damper on the chart, and things would be starting to really lose kind of their shine. Because right now, yeah, this thing's getting nice and shiny, looking better. But if the price starts to move down below there, the chart loses its shine pretty quickly. But overall, definitely a good strong close here for the week, and now it's just a matter of how does the weekend play out. So keep your eye on those levels and walk yourself through those questions. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for the free live webinar, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So like I said, get signed up for it. It'll be next week, Thursday, September 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. So have a great weekend. Again, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and go get signed up for that free class. Thanks for watching. Take care.